God. The Mummy is directed by Alex Kurtzman, stars Tom Cruise, and is the story of Nick Morton, who is in the US Army, but he's more of a thief. And when going to Iraq to look for artefacts to sell onto the black market, he stumbles across the tomb of Armanet. And when he does this, things start to go pretty wrong. Now, when going to see this movie, I was pretty hesitant to start off with, because when you see a film being plugged as much as this one was, it was in an advert for phones before the film started, it was then in the trailers at every movie I was at, so it was being plugged to the high heavens. And when that normally happens, a film isn't going to be that great. And this film isn't that great either. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Now, this film is supposed to start what Universal are now calling the Dark Universe for their films, which is going to be things like Frankenstein, it's going to be Jekyll and Hyde, it's going to be The Mummy. It's supposed to start all these old Universal monsters are now coming into this sort of franchise. And I wouldn't say that this is the best start to it either. I think it's a pretty bad showing. I'm not saying it's all bad. The visual effects in this film are beautiful. The stunt work is incredible, as it would be in a Tom Cruise movie. The visual effects for the Egyptian pieces were beautiful. They were really well done. They were really well researched and looked absolutely amazing. Now, as I say, Tom Cruise, of course, is extremely good in his stunt work in this movie, and he's very committed to his part. There's some absolutely amazing stunts that he does in this. So I don't really have much of a problem with Tom Cruise in this film. I like Tom Cruise. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. I would say that Jenny, played by Annabelle Wallis, is a bit of a strange one. She's more of an expositional character. She doesn't really need to be there other than to explain hieroglyphs to the audience, because we're obviously not going to really understand them. And she very much reminds me of Rachel Weisz's character in the original 1999 version of The Mummy. She's sort of there to be there for bits you don't understand. And she's also really annoyingly this person that has to be saved. She's just there to sort of get captured by people and to shout Nick a lot, you know. It's just not needed. It's since Wonder Woman, a film about women empowerment, to see a woman now getting captured a lot and needing a man's help to do a lot of the things she does other than helping in Egyptian tombs is really, really frustrating, because we know we don't need that anymore. It's just silly. Now, what most people were talking about leading up to this movie was the fact that the gender of the mummy has changed. It is now a lady mummy rather than a man mummy. So it's no longer Imhotep, it is now Armanet, played by Sophia Boutella, who we know from Kingsman: The Secret Service and more recently Star Trek Beyond. Now, I'd say she's pretty good. I mean, she's one of the biggest up and coming actresses right now. She's really good in her roles, and this one, she's also really good for me. In the first 45 minutes, the rest of it, her characterisation seems a little stale, and we've also seen it before. It's very similar to the 90s version of The Mummy. You know, she's very much similar to that, and a lot of what she does, other than her way of possessing people, which is extremely cool, I won't give it away if you haven't seen it, that's really original and really quite clever, but other than that, her characterisation is quite stale. I don't think it's necessarily her fault, because I think she was really, really cool in the movie. I would also say another huge problem with the movie is its tonality. It really doesn't know what it wants to be half the time. For the first part of the movie, it was more of an action-adventure movie, sort of like if you've played the game Uncharted, it's sort of like that. They're looking for stuff, looking for artefacts. Then it turns into, of course, the typical mummy movie that we're looking for when we watch this and we see the title of the film. Then it turns into a zombie movie, of all things. And then it turns into an underwater adventure thing. It keeps changing its tone. It's almost like it's trying to cram in all of the parts of the Universal monsters to get you in, to sort of introduce you into it, because they're obviously trying to introduce a universe now. Well, we've got the Marvel universe and the DC universe, and it's almost like they're trying to catch up by getting all this sort of stuff in. It's really strange. I wish they'd just taken their time and just made this film what it should have been. A lot better and have a lot more of a flow with the Mummy rather than having zombies and stuff in it. I found that really strange as to why you would do that. You know you're making a Mummy movie, so why put all this other stuff in? It's just weird to me. That being said, a standout for me in this movie was actually Russell Crowe as Dr. Henry Jekyll. So now we all know where he's going to go next in this universe. I thought his portrayal of the character was really cool and unique. Obviously we've seen this before in films like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where he's more of a Hulk type figure. He was rather big and, you know, big CGI guy. In this, it's more of a personality change. It's almost, his body structure doesn't change, it just turns into more of a Cockney accent kind of thing. I really dug that. I think that he's a fantastic actor anyway, we know. I love Russell Crowe's work, and watching him as a turn from Jekyll to Eddie Hyde, I love that. I think that was so cool. He had such intensity when he was doing it, and it was honestly the best part of the movie for me. That he wasn't in it, I would say, for a huge amount of time as the changeover. I wish it lasted a little bit longer actually, because it was actually the bit that I was really rooting for, and it really kept me captivated in this film. I thought he was absolutely excellent. He was a standout, and I can't wait to see what they do with that character later on and see the consequent movie they do with it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I know this movie is yet another start to another cinematic universe, but I really don't think it's the best start to it. I really think they should have taken their time with it, made it much better. If anything, I much prefer The Mummy and The Mummy 2, the originals from the 90s. They're really guilty pleasures of mine. I loved Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in those films. I would much prefer to watch those again. I'm not that bothered if I see this one again, which is a real shame, because obviously setting up this universe, you want it to really captivate you and get you in, but because of all those tonality changes and the shift of all these things going on, I really didn't get it. I thought it was really strange to start with such a weird film like this. It really put me off, and for that reason, guys, I'm going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 5. I really wish I could have given it more. The only reason I give it slightly more than I wanted it to is because I want to see what they do with Russell Crowe's character. I loved his Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think they were absolutely brilliant. I properly loved them. Guys, if you want to check this movie out, please do. For his performance alone, I really dug it. I really did. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have seen the movie, please let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to know what you guys thought about it. Love to know your thoughts. Please let me know, and I will see you all later.